Representative Thompson, what do you say?
Well, Bill, certainly there's been no lack of high anxiety and high theater in our nation's capital in the last several weeks. And as Senator Palmer said, I'm just elated that finally tonight the House, anyway, voted on a compromise that probably no one liked, and that's probably why it passed. But certainly not raising the debt ceiling was no option, and I think everybody realized that, and hopefully the Senate will tomorrow. But, you know, Kentucky, like a lot of other states, rely on a significant amount of federal money. We get transportation money from the federal government. We get Medicaid money. We get money for our unemployment compensation fund. So there's a lot at stake there if the ceiling didn't get raised in terms of the diminished amount of those funds flowing through to us. But the federal government definitely is going to be closing its wallet, if you will, and becoming more austere as a result of this bill. I think about $900 billion in the first year and maybe another $1.5 billion coming toward the end of the year, depending on what this commission does that's been formed. But there's going to be less money flowing to the states, and we're going to have to be more disciplined, and austerity is going to be the word.
Race.
Well, Bill, in just a little less than 100 days, Kentuckians will go to the poll to make a decision on who's best equipped to lead our state forward over the next 4 years. And I think Governor Beshear has been leading Kentucky in the right direction and has been moving our state forward. I think job one, without question, is job creation. And I think this governor has really focused on job creation. To give an example, in the '09 special session, the governor was a chief architect, if you will, and lead inspirer for a bill that modernized and changed Kentucky's incentives to make Kentucky more competitive, to allow us to attract more jobs and specifically more investment. And that is really paying dividends. Since that time, over 330 companies have applied for those incentives. It's probably going to create over 19,000 jobs, but more than anything, it could save about 6,000 jobs. And in this economy, every job is precious, and the aggregated investment as a result of this reformed incentive package is going to be over $3 billion of investment being made into Kentucky. So I think job one in this governor's race is to focus, as this governor's been doing, on job creation. I think health care, Medicaid is important. I think fortunately back during the special session, we were able to balance Medicaid within its budget without having to cut education and other core services. And I think that's proven now with our managed model that the budget, or the Medicaid budget, is balanced, and that we're not going to have to make draconian cuts to education and human services and public protection. And then also in the healthcare area, you know, we've got perhaps, depending on what the Supreme Court eventually says, we're going to have a national healthcare reform, and Kentucky is going to have to look at establishing healthcare exchanges. I think that's going to be interesting. And then finally, probably education, you know, the future of education. This governor has not cut SEEK funding, which has allowed us to move forward in education, and I think that's going to be a big issue on continuing the momentum that Kentucky now has in education.
My question is for Representative Thompson.
Yes.
And my question is, I have a concern about aging programs across our great Commonwealth. We have over 10,000 seniors waiting for home-delivered meals, as well as many on waiting lists for in-home services. And we all know these services are keeping people in their homes where they want to be and out of nursing homes. And my question to Representative Thompson, who is my representative, I'd like to know how he feels about the future for aging services across Kentucky.
All right, Ms. Whitaker, thanks very much for joining the program.
Bill, it's certainly good to hear from Charlotte Whitaker. I know her, and she does an excellent job. She's a tremendous advocate, not only for the citizens of Ohio County, but for seniors. And it is a big concern. You know, with our aging population, we need more resources dedicated to our seniors as opposed to diminished or less resources. In my home county, we probably have over 300 people that are on the waiting list for Meals on Wheels, a huge waiting list in the whole county. Many times that's the only time during a day that a senior will see somebody, is when that driver takes that meal, that nutritious meal, maybe the only nutritious meal they get, to that individual. Also, adult daycare is so important that we need. So the federal government was debating that, you know, about the diminished possibility to senior services and to revenues that are going into this. So we need to be very aware of it. We need to make sure, as we partial out, if you will, these scarce resources, these inactions that come in, involuntary inactions called taxes, that we use them in the very best way, the most effective and efficient way. And obviously, I think one of the most efficient ways is making sure we take care of our seniors. They were there for us when we needed them. We need to be there for them now.